Like, guys, I don't understand Christian brothers sometimes. Honestly, I do not. And it was time for me to go home, and it was like, where are you going? I said, I'm going home. What dream maybe am I going to? I'm going to my house. Said, so he's going to stay in this hotel all by himself. I'm like, yes, mister, you are going to stay in this hotel all by yourself tonight. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning with breakfast. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here. If you're new, welcome. My name is Maybe Afolabi, and I film content on faith, relationship, marriage, and lifestyle. If that is anything you're interested in, please do well to click the subscribe button, turn on post notifications so you know when I post a new video. So in today's video, I'm here to give you guys a story time. It is a gist. Get your popcorn, a glass of juice, a bottle of water, because it's about to be fun. Let's get right into the video. If I'm looking here, I'm looking at my mirror to make sure that my phone is still recording, because with iPhone these days the memory is short. It's really small. Let me start from the very beginning. So if you ask me how many relationships I have been or was I before I met my husband, the typical answer I would give is 2.5, right? So it is the half that I want to come and give you this just now. So this person, it happens that I've known them for the longest time. I knew them since I was very little. I'm not going to say where from so that people are not joining the dots. I knew them since I was very little. We are not family friends, we are not related or anything, but yeah, I just happened to know them since I was 10, something like that. And you know, we're very close. It was just like that person, like that big brother. And I would also like to add that, you know, this person was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, whereas moi I was born with a spoon. I'm from a very humble background, like very basic. I didn't have all the glitz and glamour growing up. Like, I have the typical, you know, Nigerian child story, not the glam, not the 1% of the 1%. No, that's not me. But for this person, you can say that, you know, yeah, they are up there. How we met is only God. It's only God. And it's also the kind of parents that I have, that no matter what is looking like, they try to just still give us the best of the best. So I went to good schools, so I think that's how we met. Anyway, moving on, fast forward. So moving on to later in life, maybe like 10 years after I've known this person, you know, they just came back into my life. We lost contact for a period of time, and they came back into my life to say that, okay, they like me. Guys, the pronoun is not they. Let me stick to he. He likes me, like he likes me, blah blah blah. And I mean, I liked him too. It's not bad, right? It's not a bad person. It's not a bad person. I've known him, and all the time I knew him, all the times that I knew him, he has always like taking good care of me and all that. So he wasn't a bad person like that. It wasn't bad at all. Like, and he was good looking, plus is a rich kid, right? So that was just like an icing on the cake, because at the end of the day, for people like, for me, growing up the way I grew up, marriage used to be like my saving grace. Like, I just want to marry a rich man that can just take care of me and my family members and just take care of all our problems and everything. So it was looking like that prayer was getting answered with that proposal that I got at the time. And you know, I was very happy. Okay, let's do this. Even though it was not in the country, it was like very long distance relationship, like very long. I've always done long distance relationship, and I love long distance relationship, because it just gives you time to focus, to think clearly, and to avoid nonsense, basically. And if you know me, you know that I've had values, biblical standards, like from way back, like from the time I could speak or write, from the time I could know my left from my right. I've always known that, you know, there is no premarital sex. I always knew that sex was within the confines of marriage, and that was meant to be my case by God's grace. So it was like no shaking, no go area and all that. So it was one of the reasons I preferred long distance relationship, because at the end of the day, you just avoid nonsense. And for me, I didn't have relationships where I didn't have boyfriends where we were both on the same page when it comes to, or when it came to sex, right? So it was always me saying, oh, no sex before marriage, right? And for some of them it worked. Well, for all of them it worked. Well, for some of them it worked because, yeah, they really liked me for who I am, not because they wanted to get me in bed. But for some others, like this one, it didn't sit well, because it's always like, so why am I buying this car that I've not tested, right? But we'll get to that. I think I've jumped the gun. Anyway, so you know, the relationship was good. It happened when I was in, should I give timeline? Yeah, when I was in law school. Yeah, it happened when I was in law school. It was long distance. So like I said, it was very long distance. We were not in the same time zone. I was in law school in Abuja. I was busy. I was buried in books. So it was just like talking maybe 30 minutes every day on some days, because it was also very busy as well. Like one of the busiest person I've met. Like it was always so busy. So I think the most times that we talked was on weekends. We talk on weekends and everything. And I realized that in our conversation, one thing that would always come up, and the only thing that we thought about was, you know, sex. I realized that for people that, you know, were doing long distance relationship and didn't have any problem with having sex before marriage, they have other ways of doing these things even though they are not together. So this person would also want me to indulge in these things, and I'm like, no, like I won't do that. So it was one thing that we were always fighting about. We're always having conversations and disagreement about it. I will go about how I'm taking it too far, that it's not even the real thing, it's just, you know, those things that you do when you love somebody. You know, they'll just try to guilt trip me about how I don't love them. If I love them, I'll do it. Like, what's the big deal? It's not like we are doing the real thing. It's not physical, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I can't do it. It doesn't make sense. Like, I can't do it. I'm not that kind of person that would, I won't send you a naked picture of me because you love me. I love you. No, I won't do that. You know, so we had that conversation back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was long, and you know, and I've always been that person that will always carry my mother along in all of my relationships. My mom knew all my boyfriends. She knew what was causing our fights. She knew when it was going to end. She knew if it was not going to end. Like, she knows. Like, I would always talk to her about my relationship. So that's why, yeah, that's a story for another day. But my mommy would always trust my decisions. When you go to her with another type of story, she will not believe you, because she knows her daughter. You know, we're always having these discussions, conversations, and yeah, I didn't mind. Man, I'm just like, I can't do it, sorry. And I used to just feel like God just brought that relationship into my life in that season to just help me financially, because I was not lacking, guys. I was not lacking anything. I was in law school, and I was sending money to my siblings. Like, I was sending money to my siblings because I did not lack anything good. I didn't lack anything good. Okay, there was one time he called and I was like, oh, you didn't call me, blah blah blah. I was like, oh, I'm sorry that I ran out of data, that I've not had data, and I don't have money to load data, blah blah blah. And I was like, then you should have told me this, and he just sent me like 30K to do data. Guys, this was 2016. 30K was like big money to do data. And my friend was there. My friend was like, oh my god, maybe, you know, you know girls, you know how girls can be like, oh my god, maybe this is big fish, you must keep this guy, blah 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 blah. So I wasn't lacking at all. So I used to, when sometimes in retrospect, when I think about it, I'm just like, maybe God just brought that relationship to ease my life in that season, because law school is tough. But law school without money is tougher. You can't do, what do you want to do? Especially for somebody like me that just wanted to read 100%. You can't do business. There is no time to do business. Really, you can't do business. You can't do anything. At least in uni, I used to buy and sell. Like, I sold my way through uni. I would buy clothes, buy lipstick, buy shoes from Vespa, Lagos. I'll come and sell in school. I'll buy makeup items from trade fair. I'll go and sell in school. Like, I was doing business back and forth in uni. Necessarily does not have to affect your studies if you know what you're doing. But law school is like a crash course. You're doing like 5 gigantic courses in the space of 6 months. Like, you have to read back to back, so you could not do anything. If you call them, it's the money that they have that they will send to you, right? If they don't have one, do you want them to go and steal? No. I remember that, you know, that was just always like the source of our conflict all the time. We would always fight about it. And I remember one time, after law school, you know, he was proud of me. He sent me celebratory money. Like, guys, I enjoyed. I remember when I was going to travel back home from law school, he sent me money for my flight. I checked it, and before then I'd never flown. I checked the amount. I'm like, how will I just go and pay this kind of money to fly on plane? What's that? No way. There is no way I'm gonna do that. So I took like what, 10K or whatever. How much was Lagos to Abuja, Abuja to Lagos? In fact, long story short, I went by road. I spent the remaining money, right? So I didn't lack. It took care of me, but that was like a major problem for him. Like, why would you do this? Why would you not want to give this up? Anyway, so fast forward to when I finished law school. I finished this in August. I think I finished in August. He came home in September, and he came all the way to see me, which is like very, very special. I went all out. Like I got him the nicest hotel in my area, like in my vicinity. Then I was so happy to see him. Like I was so happy, blah blah blah. And I think in his mind, he used to think that, okay, the reason why this girl is holding dear, like the reason why she would not give up on all of this as standards, is because she has not physically seen me. Maybe when she physically sees me, she will know that, okay, what this thing that she thinks she's doing, she will know that it is not obtainable or something like that. I'm sure that that was his thought process, because tell me why. Now, okay, I've gotten this hotel for you. Of course, you came to my city. You know that my parents live. I live with my parents and all that. So, you know, I made him food. In fact, my mom even helped me in the preparation of the food and all that. She was happy for me. She was really happy for me because she thought I could navigate that. I genuinely actually liked him. Like really, 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 really liked him. And it's so funny. Okay, so I went to him in the hotel. We were so happy. We hugged and all that. And we played, we gisted, we did everything. And I served him food. I served his brother and all that, and it was time for me to go home. And it was like, why are you going? Where are you going? I said, I'm going home. What dream maybe am I going to? I'm going to my house. I said, so he's going to stay in this hotel all by himself? I'm like, yes, mister, you are going to stay in this hotel all by yourself tonight. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning with breakfast. I was like, no, that does not make any sense. I'm like, that is what makes the perfect sense. In my own books, it makes sense. Because what do you expect me to stay with you? Like, for what? To do what? I've literally stayed with you like all through the day. It's just for you to go to bed now, sleep, open your eyes. Before you open your eyes tomorrow morning, I'm gonna be here with your food, with breakfast. That's how much I love you. It just did not make sense to him. I went, apparently he was hungry. I came with breakfast. He was just giving me attitude. He went all about how he didn't like what I've done. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I came all the way to see me. I'm like, yes, I'm available to you 100%. It's just that I'm not sleeping in the same hotel room with you, especially because I know your stand. You know, it's not that I've not slept with guys in the same room before, and please don't do it, but yeah, it's not like I've not done it before, but I knew their stance towards concerning the issue, right? I knew that even though I was the one that proposed it, but they have agreed to it. But you have not agreed. You did not agree. So why would I want to put myself in front of that temptation? It doesn't make any sense. The Bible says we should flee. So I'm literally fleeing in the night, right? So he was angry. He got really upset and everything. He ate my breakfast like he did not want to eat it. All the plans that we had, he just put a stop to everything. Like all the plans that we had to go out, chill around the area, around the city and everything, he just cancelled it. It was like, he's so upset, blah blah blah. Except I'm going to remedy it tonight and stay with him. I'm like, I'm not gonna stay with you. I'm not gonna stay with you. He just shut me out at that moment. He shut me out. Guys, before he came, after law school, he told me to go to driving school. So that was the first time I learned how to drive. No, that was the second time I learned how to drive. My father taught me how to drive when I was 17, but I forgot. Well, after law school, he told me to go and take a driving test, right? That he was going to buy me a car as my present for going through law school and everything. And I was so happy. He paid for my driving school. Like, I was so happy. Like, I'm gonna get a car. I'm gonna get a car. My boyfriend is buying me a car. You know, so I was so excited. I went to driving school. I did well. I passed. So this was the time. It was this period that came that was supposed to give me my car. And because he was upset, he put a stop to everything. He shut me out. Like, he literally just stopped talking to me. He was still in my city. He was still in the hotel, but he just stopped talking to me. He wasn't responding. And I went home that night, And I went home. I just dropped everything by the door, and I went to the room. I removed my clothes. This is so funny. I removed my clothes and I just went to my bed to cry. Like, I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't talk to my mom. My mom kept asking, what's happening? What's wrong? I didn't answer her. I just stayed in my bed and I cried. I was just crying and crying and crying. And you know, my mom she went to the laundry basket where I dumped all my clothes that I wore, and she was checking it to see maybe maybe I was abused, or maybe I gave in or something. I don't know what she was looking for. It was later that she told me that was what she was looking for, that she was just looking for signs. I'm like, what's that? Like, what is that? That's just nosy. Anyway, so, and I just cried. Something in my spirit knew that, you know, that relationship had ended. You know, something in my spirit knew that that relationship had ended that day. I knew that it had ended. And the following morning, I got a text from him to say that he had gone back to Lagos and that he had taken everything that he brought with him, everything for me that he brought with him, he had taken it back, blah, blah, blah. And that he was going to go to Dubai, then from there was going to go back to his country where he lives and everything. And I just said, okay. I was really hurt, right? It was really painful. I cried for days. It was like somebody died. I was mourning. I was really, really, really hurt because, you know, I'm that kind of person that I plan. And like I said, I go into relationships with purpose. Like, it has to be purposeful. Even though, you know, he had this issue. Like, guys, I don't understand Christian brothers sometimes. Honestly, I do not. Like, this person was a leader in his church. Like, he's a leader in church. And I'm like, why is this a big deal for you? Like, why is this such a big deal? If you have this, you know, spiritual responsibilities and everything, and you cannot understand this simple Bible rule or Bible guide, like, why is it so difficult for you to imbibe and practice? I could not understand it. You know, I was really hurt. Like, I cried for days. I was just always crying. I later told my mom what happened. My mom was like, don't worry, good one will come, your one will come, that means it's not just for you, blah blah blah. You know, all those things that your mother would tell you when you're going through heartbreak. Because it was heartbreak, I was heartbroken. And you know, it just went by like that. I think I saw a picture of the car. It was like my dream car at the time. Like, it was my dream car at the time. And I'm just like, wow, this could have been mine if I didn't care so much about. But then I was just like, I beg, this is God. I'm just doing Bible. I'm just obeying scriptures and everything. And, you know, that just happened. It was just one part of my life that I always used to think that even if we had gone ahead to get married, I don't think I would have been happy or as fulfilled as I am right now. Yes, I don't think so, because the only reason he would have married me, because he always kept saying it was just always been, it was like his reference point. Like, why would he buy a car that he did not test? It doesn't make sense to him to buy a car that he has not tested. That, what if there is a fault? And guys, there is actually it's very funny. And there would have actually been a fault, because if you guys have been on my channel, you know that I had vaginismus. So imagine us trying to navigate that as unmarried people. Oh my God, that's just messy. Like, that is just so messy. So at the end of the day, it just pays. It really pays to obey God. It really pays to do scriptures. I was meditating one time, and you know, the Holy Spirit said to me that all the guide that he has laid down in the scriptures for us is for our own good. It's not because you are doing God a favor. And I always say that because you're a virgin does not mean that God owes you anything. No, it is for you. At the end of the day, you are doing yourself a favor. You keeping yourself till marriage means that, you know, you will not have children outside marriage. You will not have children that you would have to be begging the father to say, please be present in this children's life. Even though I know that life is messy, you know, even these things happen in marriage, but there is a higher probability of it happening outside marriage, where that, you know, now you're a baby mama and it's not a title that you want for yourself. You know, all of these plenty things that can be avoided. Like, you read some stories online and just like, if only you had just, you know, done God's word, you will not be in this mess. You will not be in this mess. Of course, for some people it is unintentional. They did not plan it. It still happens, and that is why I said life is messy. You know, life is not black and white, right? But to a great extent, there are some troubles that if you had just done God's word, you would have prevented, right? You would have prevented yourself from that trouble and trauma and headache. Anyway, so I just used to feel like if I'd gone ahead with that marriage, I would not have been a fulfilled person. And I'm sure that, you know, that kind of person, if he's not fully committed to me, I cannot complain, because yeah, I would have money to spend, but I might not have peace of mind and everything. Anyway, all of that to say that I just thank God for giving me the strength to navigate that season of my life, to not say that, to not concord, to say that, okay, have your way and let God's way be on the highway. And that's one thing my mommy, when she wants to, like when she's referencing moments in my life, she used to reference that moment, that she really respects my decision, because really there is so much that your parents can do. It is your life. I was a full-grown adult at the time. I could make my own life decisions, and if I had said, okay, you know what, damn it, there is little that she can do about it. There is really little that she could have done. And she just used to, you know, praise me for that strength and that tenacity at the point to say, I hold on to God, like God or nothing. And you know, I felt like God just rewarded me with a beautiful life partner. Premarital sex was one thing that my husband and I did not discuss in dating. Like, it was a no-brainer. It didn't come up once. And I thought, I'm keeping myself for marriage. Not once did we talk about it. It was not a discussion. Like, it was not a discussion. And that is what happens when you find a like-minded person, when you find your own person, the person that God, you know, your own person, the person that you know that, you know what, this is God's will for my life. And you know, that was just a beautiful reward for me in that season. So that is like my half relationship, because I used to call it half because it was what, maybe lasted for a whole of 9 months. Yeah, lasted for a whole of 10 months, and we saw each other once in the period, and the day we saw each other was the day we broke up, or the period we saw each other was the period we broke up. So it's half, please. Anyway, that's the end of my gist. Can you relate? Tell me in the comment section if you learned something from this video. Please tell me in the comment section and share with somebody that you think would need it. Till next time I come your way, I hope that you do well. Give this video a thumbs up, guys. Please give this video a thumbs up. It is a way to let YouTube know that you enjoyed the video and other people should see it as well. Okay, so next time I come your way, I hope that you do well, and God bless you. Bye guys.